I just left Michael's empty-handed, unfortunately, because I guess they are no longer putting prices on anything.
Oh my god, look. These price tags started updating right in front of me.
That's literally a bait and switch. Isn't that illegal? I had tickets in my cart and the price changed in front of my eyes because I didn't purchase them quick enough. Oh my god.
So I feel a bit like an idiot. I didn't realize how far along dynamic pricing actually was. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, dynamic pricing is the idea that a company will charge for the same good or service a different price for each customer based on how much money they either think they have or know you have in your bank account. So picture being at a store and you're buying a TV for $400 and you look over at the register next to you and I'm there buying that same TV for $350. No membership card, no nothing, just no justification for the lower price. I'm just paying a lower price. And yet you look over one more register, there's somebody else buying the exact same TV for $250. That's what dynamic pricing is. And I thought that we had time to stop that. But it turns out online it's already happening. You see, when we're online, our experiences are tailored to us, and that can be great. It can also have its drawbacks, but that's for another video. But shopping is different because if I want to buy a TV and I go to the store and I see the price is $400, I know I'm getting the TV at the market price. But if I'm buying that same TV online, I know my price is $400, but I don't know if I'm drastically overpaying or drastically underpaying compared to somebody else buying that exact same TV, which means it's a lot harder for me to save money if I get a company that's saying he has X amount of dollars in his bank account, we should be able to get Y price versus this is what we're going to charge and we're going to make a profit of X.
Uber got busted charging people on iPhones more than Android for the same rides and would also charge more if phone battery was super low. So again, they're just taking advantage, you know. I think it was like that Mac versus PC debate, like where people who have MacBooks are going to be charged more than people who are using like a freaking Lenovo or something. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense if you're using a Samsung versus an Apple iPhone. People, they, again, with that $230 stock, they expect Apple customers to be a little bit more hive mind and I guess have more money, more disposable income to spend. But the phone battery being low and they charge you more, that's actually diabolical. That is diabolical to do to someone.
They really don't give a fuck. They really don't. They're going to start introducing dynamic pricing or surge pricing with places like Kroger, Target, Walmart. It's going to start happening within like the next 2 years. Basically what they're going to do is they're going to wait for a product to get really popular in demand. And during certain peaks of the day when that item is popular, that's when they're going to jump the price up. They're going to change tags that are in the store to digital tags. So that way they can just kind of adjust the pricing as it goes along. Now, mind you, manager doesn't have control over this. The workers, this is going to come from corporate. Target, Walmart, Kroger are some of the places, just to name a few, who's going to start the digital dynamic pricing or surge pricing is what they call it. Also, restaurants are going to start doing it. So if you go to McDonald's at a certain time of day and they know everybody's going to come to McDonald's at like 6 p.m. when kids are getting off out of school, out of practice, parents are getting off of work, you're going to see a significantly different price at McDonald's on a Saturday than you will see it on a Wednesday. You see
Kroger might have just got caught red-handed using facial recognition software to implement surge pricing and discriminatory practices on customers. Now they're scrambling to cover it up and play it off. Let's talk about what's really going on. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib and others have accused Kroger of using technology that could lead to surge pricing and discriminatory practices. Kroger's use of electronic shelving labels could lead to what Kroger calls dynamic pricing. So what is dynamic pricing? Well, with this pricing model, Kroger could raise prices on the fly during emergencies, which can cause hardships for customers. They can adjust prices based on temporary factors like the weather or even the time of day. This practice lets companies price gouge, suddenly raising costs without any prior notice to the consumer. In addition, to make matters worse, Kroger has proposed adding facial recognition cameras to its digital shelves, potentially offering different prices on deals to shoppers based on their age, gender, race, or other personal traits. This technology could be used to manipulate pricing based on how much price hikes a customer can take. In addition, Kroger's of course denying everything and basically telling us, just trust us, bro. We'd never do that. But let's be real, this is not the first time they pulled something shady. Y'all remember a few years ago where you had to sell a piece of your liver in order to afford eggs or even milk? Well, a Kroger executive admitted that the company intentionally jacked up the prices of basic goods. This dirty little secret came out during their legal battle over a $24.6 billion merger with Albertsons, which the FTC is currently fighting to block. In addition, the FTC warns that if this deal does go through, millions of shoppers could be hit with even higher prices on their groceries, adding more pressure on working class families that are already struggling to survive. In addition, this merger would impact 1 out of 6 grocery workers if approved. So what do y'all think? Are Kroger's price hacks just another savvy business strategy, or is this yet another example of...
So my thing is, how do they use this facial recognition system to price the item? And then, so what I was thinking is they have like the list of prices and then they're gonna have it be the same for like, I don't know, an hour, or it changes every 20 minutes. But then, so then it'll be like the same price for everyone else. If they're using a facial recognition system, are they doing it specifically for that one person, for you? Like when you pick up, you know, some coffee beans at the store and you see like $10.99, and now when you go to check it out, it's like $12.99? Like, how do they know what price you got the item at? Maybe I'm making this overly complex, and you can explain it below to me in the comments like I'm 5, because I'm really just genuinely not understanding what's going on here.
Why am I paying more than that guy? We're calling that personalized pricing. That sounds a lot nicer than it feels. Stores like Target or Kroger or Walmart have started testing out different versions of dynamic pricing. Listen, I know that I look like I can afford more, but things are just not good for me right now. No, yeah, we're aware. According to your Hinge, it looks like you are recently separated and looking forward to your next economic adventure. Well, you know, the economy and AI and... Yeah, we're all just skating by right now. Okay, yeah, well then my price should probably be lower if we're personalizing things. Contrary to what a lot of people would probably think, some stores are actually reducing pricing for wealthier customers to incentivize long-term relationships. I can't afford to drive around looking for better deals. That's the point. The prices are even higher on the app. That's called proximity pricing. Stores like Target have been reported in the past to raise prices on things like electronics when people are closer to the store because they think that they're already primed to spend money. Didn't the Dollar General just get in trouble for charging people more at the registers than what the shelves said? This is illegal. Oh, that is super illegal. They shouldn't have done that. But you're doing that. Nope, I think you're a little confused on that. There aren't actually any laws yet about digital signage changing before you get to the shelf. So how do you even do it? Are there cameras in the shelves? What? No. Facial tracking is crazy, and all of the major retailers have denied it. Then how do you know who I am? We have a number of creative ways that we can do it. We can ping your phone, and if we can get your MAC address, then we know who you are when you come back in, and we can just track you with the overhead cameras. What the fuck? And even if we can't get your MAC address, we build profiles, and we buy third-party information that sometimes has location tracking, so we can tell when you come into a store. Retailers have admitted that they've looked into it, but no one has said that they're doing it yet. It is worth noting that online retailers are absolutely doing personalized pricing.
Yeah, it's again just getting worse. It's just getting worse. Like, I understand this is a skit, but it's turning more and more into real life. Companies have already been doing stuff like this. Dynamic pricing isn't necessarily new. We know that airlines have been doing this. I'm pretty sure, you know, like Uber, Lyft, rideshare companies have been doing this stuff. It only makes sense that, you know, the groceries that we need, right, will start doing this as well, but is what it is.
Let me just say something really quick to Lyft. Yes, I'm talking to you. Come to the front, bitch. How dare y'all surge prices so high that my same 6-minute commute to work that I normally pay $6 to $8 for is now double the price? And then you got the nerve to say 5% off your next 4 rides with Dash Pass. How? How is that a deal when you just jacked the price up so high and took $1 off and calling it a deal? Don't piss me off. Like, there has to be some way to regulate that shit because y'all are fully scamming people. Scam.
No, can you imagine your commute, $6, now you have to pay $12, and you have to tip people as well for rideshare services. So again, Uber, Lyft, they do surge pricing. It depends, like, right, if there's a concert and it just happens to correlate when you get off of work. Sorry, buddy, I guess you're paying that extra price.
People are already destroying the prices change throughout the day. Plus 10%? Plus 10%?
Have you ever seen that before where it says plus 10% at the register? Why would it say that? Like, that's actually really messed up to do. Dynamic pricing in grocery stores should be illegal. If I pick it up at the shelf and it's $1.19, but at the register it's changed to $1.25, that's false advertising and price gouging. This has to be one of the most greediest things a company can do. It'd be a shame if people kept breaking them. Again, like, you're installing these LED strips, these little, you know, pieces of technology, these little computer things, and that was pretty expensive, I would assume, right, to install this sort of stuff instead of just printing off paper and then keeping it there for however long. Am I gonna say I hope they keep breaking it? No, but you be the judge. You let me know if you hope they keep breaking it.
I just went to Walmart to get rhinestones. This tiny thing of rhinestones was like $2.98. I get up to the cash register and it rings up as like $7.50. So I swiftly left and went back to the crafting aisle and I took a picture of the price and I brought it back up front, and he's like, I can honor it for now, but just so you know, the pricing is going to be changing. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, we're going to get like the digital price tags, so soon the price can change at any time, and then we're not going to be able to price match any pictures you provide us. The fuck?
Didn't they come up with the price match? You know, like if you go to Target or go to Big Lots, if that's a thing anymore, Sears, that's also not a thing. Kmart, that's also not a thing. They're like just getting smaller and smaller, the places that we can go to, the number, the quantity. But they used to respect like the price match. So then you would be able to get like, oh, it was $2 over at Target. We're going to make it price matching, right? It's going to be $2 here. Now they won't even respect the price match in their own store. The moment price tags at grocery stores go digital so they can do dynamic pricing is the day I start dynamic pricing them to zero by stealing the crap out of them. But you would have to be crazy to think that people aren't just going to start stealing more. Like if you're going to be charging people more people are going to be priced out of goods and services. So then they're going to be more desperate. Is that what they want? Is this another ploy to get more people into prison so they provide free or cheap labor?
Shoot myself in the foot when I tell you guys this, but I'm going to tell you anyway because I like to save money, you like to save money. Did you know, and you probably don't, that there's dynamic pricing on our utilities? Yes, our electricity and our water and of course sewer. So just to give you a little tip before this time runs out, if you happen to stay up at night, and I mean like you're a night owl, means that you tend to be up Monday through Friday after 11 o'clock, it's cheaper to use your utilities, like wash dishes, wash your clothes, clean your house, run the utilities, run water when you actually need to clean stuff. It's cheaper to do it at night because majority of Americans tend to work daytime running jobs, and those people that run daytime running jobs have somebody at home that is also maintaining the house at the same time. So if you wash your clothes on opposite times than what the majority do, it's gonna cost you less over.
I mean, I get like that makes sense to me. I also kind of knew that utilities have this sort of surge pricing. I think that's also an international thing too, but don't quote me on that. But it just kind of sucks because especially if you live in an apartment, and more of us will be living in apartments, like doing our laundry, like some of y'all's laundry machines are really loud and it sounds like bombs are dropping, all right? Especially if you're on the bottom floor and you're washing your dishes, running the dishwasher. It's just adding more noise pollution to nighttime. But if you can save a buck, you can save a buck. Like, and look at this. So it's at Wendy's here and there's dynamic pricing. The prices are changing here. If I saw this, I think I would just drive out or just be like, no, I'm not gonna do this anymore. Like I saw the Baconator at $10.99, now it's at $12.99. Not dealing with that at all.
Did you know the prices you see online might not be the same ones everyone else is seeing? It's called discriminatory pricing, and it's when retailers use all the data collected about you to guess how much you'd be willing to pay for something.
Defenders of discriminatory prices claim that while some people will see higher prices, others will see lower prices. But the reality is that sellers are trying to maximize their profits by making everyone pay the absolute most they're willing to pay. In their ideal world, no one would ever feel like they got a good deal.
So what can you do? First, shop around. Just visiting a few competing sites might tell the algorithm that you're a smart shopper. Some people also reported lower prices by using a phone instead of a laptop or a Windows PC instead of a Mac. For some reason, they think that MacBook users have money to burn.
I also agree that MacBook users have money to burn. Have you seen Apple's new iPhone sock? I did a video on it. Dumbest thing I've ever seen. Why would you pay $230 for a sock? Well, you know what? It's because they probably would pay $230 for a sock because it was sold out.
I'm gonna let you in on one of the corporate world's biggest secrets. Right now, companies are using your personal data like your location, your browsing history, your device type to decide what price to show you. That means you could be paying more than your friends or neighbors for the same flights, hotel rooms, even groceries. So I'm here to expose surveillance pricing, how it works, who profits, and who's trying to put a stop to it. Take hotel rooms. Reporters from SFGate found in February that the cost of the exact same New York City hotel room changed based on where they searched from. Using a Bay Area IP address, the price was hundreds of dollars higher than if the search had come from Phoenix or Kansas City. In one case, more than $500 per night higher. A 2012 Wall Street Journal investigation found that on Orbitz, Mac users were more likely to be shown pricier hotels than PC users. At the time, Orbitz executives confirmed that they were experimenting with showing different hotels to Mac users than PC users, but they denied that they were showing the same room to different users at different prices. Across all these examples, companies are using your personal data to guess how much you'll pay using sweeping generalizations. Bay Area must have a bigger budget. On a Mac, probably willing to spend more, and it can get even more invasive. Former FTC Chair Lena Khan warned that airlines could raise ticket prices if they detect that you need to travel for a funeral, say by tracking that you've read an obituary online or searched for funeral homes. Even personalized discounts can be unfair. Imagine a company offering discounts on air purifiers to everyone except for people living in wildfire zones, where they need them the most. Same effect, vulnerable people paying more. A California bill that would have banned surveillance pricing was just dramatically scaled back after lobbyists wrote op-eds and told legislators that the bill would ban loyalty and rewards programs. That's just not true. Drop a comment below if you've experienced surveillance pricing.
This should be so illegal. Late stage capitalism. How do we turn off their access to our data? I don't really think, like, you can turn off your access or their access to your data, but like, I don't actually believe you genuinely can turn off access to your data. Because again, they're looking at all sorts of data points. So if they're just looking at one data point, they can also buy from brokers, data brokers, your data points back. So it's just moot. It doesn't even matter at this point.
For years, I have been trying to tell y'all that shopping in incognito mode isn't going to bring you significant savings or using a VPN, because the airlines, these major airlines, don't do dynamic pricing the way that y'all think that they do. I've told you over and over again that the pricing matrix, the number of tickets they sell at each price point, and the conditions that need to be met in order for those tickets to be sold at that price are set statically over a year in advance and published to the GDS for travel agents to reference. I've been in the system. I've been in the GDS. Delta uses WorldSpan. I use WorldSpan. I've seen the fare rules. They are static. They do not change based on your browsing history, based on your zip codes. And I've been telling you this for years, and y'all don't want to listen. You're so committed to believing that the airlines are tracking your cookies and your location and all of these other things to generate a price on the spot. And now look. Now that they're actually going to start doing that shit for real, you're going to learn what it actually looks like when they do dynamic pricing. You guys are going to think back to the before times and wish that you could go back to the time where you were just mistaken about it. Everyone needs to just say a prayer for their travel agent friends right now, because this is going to make the GDS basically unusable. The transition period between static, fare rules, and dynamic pricing is going to make their lives hell. And I'm glad that I don't work in the industry anymore and that I don't have to deal with this on the inside, because already dealing with this from the outside is going to be so awful. It doesn't make sense.
I used a work computer to book a flight, saved me 200 pounds. Meanwhile, the pricing at my personal computer that I used to do the research for a plane ticket weeks ago is 900 pounds. So I don't know, it looks like it's working. I've gotten a different price viewing on laptop versus mobile, which is, one of the advice that we got was to look on our mobile phone rather than on our laptops, probably because we can do more research on our laptops. I'm not really sure what the logic is there. Let me know if you know what that's supposed to be about. Glad I live in a broke area code. Yes, I'm willing to only pay $70.
Looks like my local Walmart has been hit with the digital price tags. You know what that means? That surge pricing that Kroger was trying to introduce a couple years ago, but they backed off of because of the backlash. And like Walmart gonna press forward. Now, I don't know if they're gonna do surge pricing for real, but let's be realistic. We know what the result is when you make stuff like price tags digital. Yeah, they're gonna start raising prices whenever they want.
And they are gonna start raising prices whenever they want to.
I just left Michael's empty-handed, unfortunately, because I guess they are no longer putting prices on anything, which is diabolical. Michael's is literally not cheap, unless you're getting it, 50% off. And everything, I'm like picking up all these picks and ribbons and stuff. I'm like, wait, I don't know the prices on anything. I went up to one of the workers and I was like, hey, can you scan this for me? Like, do you guys have price scanners, since I can't see the price? And he was like, yeah, I don't know why they're doing that, but no, we don't have the scanners anymore. So I downloaded the app because maybe I could scan it like I do at Target. Nope, can't scan it. Guess you just find out at the register. No, that's insanity. So back to Hobby Lobby I go.
Losing Joann's was literally the worst thing to happen. These companies fail to realize that we don't need these things, just want them. And therefore, if they can't even be transparent about their pricing, like, no thanks, I'm good, didn't want it that bad. Exactly. You don't need anything at the Michael's craft store unless that is like your livelihood and you're, making crafts and stuff. But I think there are probably other craft stores that you can go to for these things, or like buy them bulk. Unfortunately, that's probably going to drive people to your competitors such as Amazon. Amazon obviously does use dynamic pricing. They're going to switch up the price probably on people based off of their buying habits, right? Like, they have all that data on you. But at least there's pricing on the stuff, and sometimes they have deals, right? Like there's Black Friday, or their, Amazon something on Friday. I forget what it's called. I don't use Amazon at all. But they can find something cheaper for their wants. Again, the examples have been for needs, which are groceries. That is diabolical. But if Michael's goes out of business, I don't care. Like, I haven't been into Michael's in 20 years.
I'm at Michael's now to find out if they actually have dynamic pricing. If they do, it'll break my heart, but I'm never coming here again, okay? That's just not okay. I can't support a business that does that. I do have a Michael's gift card though, so let's get to the bottom of it. I was prepared for nothing to have a price tag on it, but that's not what happened. Everything had a price tag, or so I thought. The problem was when I got to floral. Everything had a price tag until I got to the Christmas stuff. Suddenly there were no price tags on the shelf anymore, and there were no price tags on the tags either. And then things get really shady when you see this buy one get three free, which is supposed to be for the ribbons and bows, but when you go to the ribbons and bows, none of them have prices on them, and allegedly they're like $25 a pop. There was only one section with price tags. I don't really come here for seasonal things, so if you do, let me know if this is normal. So I just got back, and I don't know if my store just hasn't implemented full dynamic pricing yet, but as far as right now, it looks like it's just the seasonal items that they're not putting price tags on, which is still bad. I think they should have prices on everything, but it's not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to go in there and nothing would have a price tag. Michaels, if you're watching, listen to the people, because I will be shopping at Hobby Lobby if you do this to every single item in the store.
Exactly. People are now going to Hobby Lobby instead of Michaels. Hobby Lobby is probably going to implement surge pricing as well at some point. Again, I don't know. That's just what I'm assuming. That's what it seems like these retailers are going towards. But do you really want to drive business to your competitors? Like, that is so illogical to me. And it sounds like maybe they haven't fully cut over to it, or maybe they're just doing a little trial to see if people are gonna buy the seasonal items when there aren't any freaking price tags on them. But do better, really.
How the fuck is dynamic pricing legal? It's made it so the only people that are excited about an MCR show are the scalpers and rich people. Ticketmaster, fuck you. Whoever invented dynamic pricing is going to hell.
Whoever invented dynamic pricing, you probably are gonna be in hell for a little while. Maybe not forever, right? You can take the escalator up to heaven, but that might be your own personal hell of waiting for so long. Maybe it's like Sisyphus rolling the ball up the hill and then it rolling down, like you never actually make it there, but you have the hope. But also, don't the artists themselves opt out or into dynamic pricing? Like, it's not necessarily Ticketmaster's fault. Ticketmaster, has a whole host of issues themselves, but I think Taylor Swift was able to even opt out of dynamic pricing. I think other artists like Sabrina Carpenter probably opted out as well. Lady Gaga, I know, didn't. And if you were on TikTok like a couple months ago, people were roasting her. Rightfully so. She is a very wealthy, very established singer. She should not be doing dynamic pricing. My capitalist romance. The artist can turn it off. I got tickets, but it's gonna affect the quality of life for a while. I had tickets in my cart and the price changed in front of my eyes because I didn't purchase them quick enough. Oh my God.
Oh my God, look. These price tags started updating right in front of me. This is crazy, dude. Oh my God, that cup went up in price. I wish I would have, I had to like get my camera going, right? So there was a delay. Dude, this was under $2. I don't know, I don't remember exactly. Maybe it was like $1.98, now it's $2.18, but like... Oh wait, did that just go down? I'm trying to see if I can catch it on camera. I've never been in a store and actually watched the price of something go up right in front of me as I walked up to buy it. And now it's glitched out and it isn't showing the price anymore. I'm not sure what's going on here. All the rest of them seem to have stabilized. Maybe they heard me talking. Is this going to go down again? Nope.
See, at this point, if I saw this, I'm just walking out of the store. Like, what am I, like, if I pick up the cup when it's like $1.98 and it goes up to $2.18, do I get the $1.98 price and have to show them like, hey, I got it at $1.98? Do you have to like sprint to the cash register to lock in the $1.98 price so you don't pay an extra 20 cents? Well, it's just an extra 20 cents. I think it's not clocking to us yet. It's really not clocking to us yet that the future is so dystopian. Like, I thought it was already pretty dystopian, current times, but this is so messed up. Actually, this isn't current times. What am I talking about? But let's see, how much was that cup? Okay, so I'm looking back at the footage here and it doesn't show what it originally was. Maybe he's just like, his brain is doing tricks on him. But those are the actual digital tags that are making prices change.
We have some major news right now. A huge economic blackout and boycott of big box retailers has begun today. It previously reported it started the 28th. It actually started today, and I want you to know the details correctly. Organizations have called on you, the American people, to stop spending money at big box retailers from November 25th, today, through December 2nd. And the point of this is essentially to show big box retailers, major corporations, not small businesses, large corporations that gouge American citizens, American residents, that essentially we're not beholden to them. To Target, corporations that have introduced anti-DEI protocols, corporations that have sold out to the Trump administration. This blackout is set to last a week. Now, organizers stress to continue to...
And it should also be boycotting this nonsense. Michaels, what are you doing? You're literally driving business to other businesses. So I think this boycott is a wonderful thing a week. As the consumers, just stop consuming. Just be customers. Just be people who buy things that they need, not consuming all these mass products. You don't need them. Find something else to fill the void in your heart. I know that's easier said than done because our lives really aren't doing that well, but please, please, please try to find something else to fill the void.
I'm gonna ask y'all something. Did y'all know about dynamic pricing on Uber? My car's in the shop and I had to take Uber. The rental to, the Uber from the Enterprise to home was like $14.95, I wanna say. Go get home. I see Uber has charged me $43. So I'm like, yo, what is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to read it. It's not making sense. It's not showing me anything because also on my bank statement, it says that they charged me $14.95. Then they gave it back. And then they charged me the $43. So I hit up Uber to ask about it. And they're like, oh, that's something new. It's called dynamic pricing. And basically the way it sounds like they're trying to get people to drive. Like they're trying to get Uber drivers to actually want to drive. So they up the price. So they show me a price. You as the patron getting the service, they show you a price, but then they show the people who are going to drive a different price, and then they pay them that price out of your pocket. So they had sent me and they were like, that was our fault. It's temporary and it doesn't happen often, but it's been happening a lot more lately.
That's literally a bait and switch. Isn't that illegal? Like, you can't just bait and switch your customers. Like, I understand you want to, I guess you finally want to pay your Uber drivers more, but you can't do that at the behest of the customer because the customer is who actually is paying the Uber driver, your Lyft driver, whatever. What? Like, I would be so pissed off if I locked in a price at $15 and then they refunded me that $15 and then made me pay a $44 charge. I'm going through that with my credit card company and I'm never using your rideshare service. Why is everything literally getting worse?
After a knockout performance at Coachella, tens of thousands of Aussie fans were desperate to secure tickets to Lady Gaga's 3 Australian shows in December this year.
It's her first time touring here in 11 years.
Using every device at their disposal for the pre-sale.
I had 5 computers going at the one time.
But there was one thing on fans' minds.
You're all scared about the ticket pricing.
The Lady Gaga price list for her Australian tour. There isn't one because dynamic pricing was switched on for all shows.
The new feature means the price can change on demand.
Advertised the tickets were about $350 for the seats that I was looking for. By the time I was able to get in, they cost $650.
The Mayhem Tour has been declared a major event in Victoria, which means it's illegal to resell tickets for more than 10% of their original value. Fans say it's double standards.
Let's call it what it is. Dynamic pricing is really just scalping. The ticket website should just abide by that rule too.
Live Nation will host another pre-sale on Wednesday. Then tickets go on sale to the general public on Thursday. Rumour has it more Australian shows will be announced.
Hopefully, fingers crossed for those who missed out.
Beth Yeoman, 7 News.
Artists who choose dynamic pricing don't care about their fans. I agree with that, especially when you are a wealthier artist. Now, I understand if you're a new artist and you need more money, right? Because you're just starting out. But Lady Gaga has been established since 2007. And she's not a poor woman at all. In this economy, someone who already has millions, that's actually rude. LOL. Dynamic pricing should be illegal.
First of all, I don't want to hear any Swifties talk about, we should have warned Beehive about how Ticketmaster works. No. I am someone who went to the Eras Tour, who recently got Tay McRae and Brad tickets, who got Renaissance tickets, RIP the Pittsburgh show. I'm still bitter about that. I've been through it all, okay? And when I tell you yesterday's Beehive pre-sale, I have never ever seen anything like that before. For all of those tours I just mentioned, dynamic pricing was turned on through Ticketmaster for all of those. And for the Eras Tour specifically, I got my tickets during a last minute drop for the Toronto show, 4 days before. Okay, so dynamic pricing 110% was fully turned on for that drop because I paid about $415 for my lower bowl tickets, which at the time I thought was crazy because floor seats for the Eras Tour face value without the dynamic pricing was about $400. Thing is, these last minute drops, they knew that these Swifties really wanted to go and they could raise the prices and people would pay because it was still lower than resale, which is true, and I did pay. In comparison, the Beehive pre-sale that happened yesterday, it was was about $400, $500 for nosebleed tickets. That is absolutely insane. And you know the craziest part is, the Verizon presale that happened today, the prices dramatically dropped. And you know what that tells me? That tells me that Ticketmaster knew that the people who signed up for the Beehive presale are the true die-hard fans who would probably pay anything to see Beyonce.
That's because the Eras Tour didn't have dynamic pricing. She opted out. Ticketmaster class action lawsuit. Ticketmaster, they have been sued many times and they have come out stronger and worser, essentially, for the customer, right? Like, they're still making boatloads of cash. Scamming you. We should have warned Bey. Lo, why wouldn't she know? Artists and their management have to choose dynamic pricing. Yeah, Beyonce doesn't care, it sounds like, just wants that money, even though she's a billionaire as well with her husband. Is what it is. Can't change it. This happened back in February. You still paid the price. You love Beyonce. I mean, I love Beyonce. Wonderful singer, great dancer, performer. Kind of cruddy though. Kind of cruddy.
The price of your groceries may soon change right in front of your eyes. A glimpse of what shoppers could soon see is already on display in Europe, where the Wall Street Journal found prices at some grocery stores can change up to 100 times per day. The technology behind it? Digital shelf labels, small electronic screens that can instantly display new prices at the push of a button, and they're being used more and more across the U.S. Walmart has installed digital tags in more than 400 locations, with plans to reach 2,300 stores by next year. Kroger and Whole Foods are expanding pilot programs as well. It's fueling fears of surge pricing.
Like charging more for ice cream when it's a hot day or for an umbrella when it's a rainy day.
Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bob Casey have sent a letter to Kroger warning the labels could be used to squeeze consumers to increase profits, but the company insists the labels won't be used for surge pricing. Companies say the tags help cut back on time-consuming labor. Walmart says it used to take 2 full days to update prices across the store. With digital tags, just minutes.
Sometimes a lot of these folks are only working 20, 25 hours a week. This is a heavy, labor-intensive job.
In a recent study, researchers found virtually no surge pricing after electronic labels were installed, finding the labels actually increase the likelihood of consumers getting discounts.
If you see these electronic tags, don't shop and call corporate to complain while still in the store. Make it hurt their pockets in both lost profits and labor costs, or they'll hurt your pockets. They don't care about your pockets. They would genuinely rob a baby if they could. They would rob the elderly. And, you know, the elderly are always getting robbed because they are the most vulnerable but have the most money. So if babies had money, they would rob them too. What do you think about dynamic surge pricing? Are you still going to shop at a store that has prices changing right in front of your eyes? It's just 20 cents more. Who cares? And then when you get to the register, you have to pay 10% more. Let me know your thoughts. Like the video if you like it. Dislike it if you dislike it. And I'll see you in the next one.